Sure.
In today's announcement, where you have to go to the bottom of the homeroom page and click on uh, like fifth grade homeroom to see
Uh-huh.
what you got for the week. In math, it said we were it said to do it said to do 10 to 15 minutes and like math and spacey math,
Uh-huh.
and then like 5 minutes later it said, because it didn't say this before, it said that you also had um lesson 6 through 8 in it, like 5 minutes after.
Yeah, that's right. So you have a little bit of math facts practice, and then you have your actual Lincoln assignments. So,
But
yeah.
the Lincoln assignment wasn't there when I first read it. But when I went back to read it, it was there.
Ooh, weird. Creepy. All right.
A little bit.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Did everybody have a nice weekend?
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. Anybody do anything interesting they want to share before we jump right in? No, nothing that interesting, huh? Okay. Well, I just went down to Pueblo to visit my parents, so it wasn't terribly exciting either. But here we are, Monday, and I just wanted to start off with reviewing some of our class expectations. Um, so, things that I don't like to call it rules, but things that maybe we should keep in mind when we're here in the virtual classroom together. And it was really kind of neat. When I was going through all of our examples, they all fit into three different categories that all started with R's. So, it's our three R's: being respectful, being responsible, and being ready. Jaden, I saw that you had your hand up. Did you have a question?
No. I was just waving to Lucas.
Oh, I see. You were waving to Lucas. Okay. Yes, because
Oh,
Lucas is,
and
yeah.
also I already did my math practice facts as well.
Fantastic. We've gotten a nice
I
start on
usually
our Monday.
I
Perfect.
usually do my math facts before school starts.
Oh, even better. Good. You get your brain warmed up. I like it. All right. So here are the things that we need to remember. I'll just go through them quickly because we spent a lot of time on this during our first BC. But being respectful involves listening to others, not making fun of others, of course. Encouraging your classmates. So maybe if somebody's struggling with a question, you can encourage them. Um, one person speaking at a time, and no loud distractions. So, being in a quiet room where you don't have like a TV on, um, and all of that is usually pretty helpful. Being responsible, Tyler, this one is for you. Coming prepared, having all of your work completed. So, if I do give you something like some homework from your virtual classroom, you have that done. Asking questions, participating, and keeping your chat on topic. I know it's really tempting to use the chat to just, have fun and type crazy messages into it, but it's really distracting to me, especially, but for everybody else. Keeping your camera kind of, front and center on you is helpful as well. All right, being ready, having a notebook and a pencil nearby, especially on Thursdays when we're going to be doing math practice. Okay, that's really important. Logging in just a couple minutes early, like, even 2 minutes early, just to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to. Having a good attitude, having fun, and then again, just, being in that quiet room by yourself is helpful. So, are there any questions about our three R's? Okay, then we'll move right on. Today, we have some really fun, exciting things that I'm going to share with you. We're going to start project based learning. And what that means is we take a real problem and we do a lot of learning, and we come up with solutions. So, throughout this, you're going to learn new reading strategies and you're going to learn a whole lot about the solar system and space. It's not going to add a ton of work to your, regular class load. So your regular, Little Lincoln and Lincoln and Atlanta assignments. Because most of it's going to be done right here and right now in the virtual classroom. So, Jaden, are we having a good time today with our camera? Looks like it. So maybe you could either turn off your camera if it's going to be distracting or just, kind of focus. All right, are we ready to get started with Moon, Mars, and beyond? Okay. Yay! You're going to like this, guys. It's a really cool project. And we get to work with NASA scientists, so that makes it even more cool. Like real NASA scientists. I'm not making that up. All right, so let me go ahead and start the presentation. It's going to go full screen, so I'm not going to be able to see my chat if you're typing me a message right now. You'll just have to speak up. All right, so I want everybody to imagine it is the year 2080. Oh my goodness, how old will you be in the year 2080?
I don't know.
Do a little math problem. Most of you are going to be in your 60s or 70s. Guess how old I would be if I were alive in the year 2080? I would be 100 years old.
I was about to say 101.
Probably 70, 80.
Yeah, okay, 78. That sounds reasonable.
I'll be 79.
79. So we're all going to be senior citizens. But that's okay.
Yeah. I have no idea.
I need a cane to walk around.
Because yes, we're all going to need canes or wheelchairs, but you know what? In the future, technology is so much better and so much more advanced that we're going to feel like we're only 40 years old because we're going to have such good medical care. But whatever. All right, guys. So we have to imagine we're in the year 2080 and there are outposts. Those are settlements on different planets, on the moons of those planets. So we have an outpost of astronauts that live on Jupiter, that live on Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Okay, so they all have moons and they are all stationed with astronauts. We have hardy pioneers who are living on these settlements in an effort to study the resources available on each planet. So basically, we're running out of resources on planet Earth. So we're looking to other planets to see what we can find. Okay? All right, here is our mission. The mission begins with the launch of a supply spaceship traveling on a routine voyage from the moon to the Martian base. Okay, so we're going from the moon to Mars. Students are in the Mars Mission Control and are in constant communication with the flight director at the Earth Mission Control. As the mission begins, Mission Control receives an urgent message from one of the exploration spacecrafts in the solar system called the Distant Discovery. They have not been heard from in 4 days. So we have lost astronauts on this ship. They appear to be lost and they need to be rescued before it's too late. Okay, questions so far? Okay. All right, vocabulary words. A couple days ago, I did send an email and I asked you guys if you had a couple extra minutes, if you could look up 1 or 2 vocabulary words. Did anybody have a chance to do that? All right, Emma, what words did you choose?
I did rescue and
Okay.
resource.
Oh, perfect. Oops, I went a little too fast there. All right, Emma, so why don't you tell us what rescue means?
Rescue means to free from confinement.
Okay, so definitely we are rescuing the astronauts who are lost in space to free them, I guess would be another way to think about that. And what about resource?
Resource means something that can be used to support or help.
That's right. And so, like I said, here on planet Earth, we were running out of resources. We're running out of things like metal and wood, and all of those things are getting used up. So we are looking for other resources on other planets. Yes, Lucas.
I didn't have a chance to look any of these up, but I know what one of them is, what the definition of it is. I read it.
Perfect. Go ahead and share it with us.
Cargo, or like a load, or things that you can put into like a train, like a
Mhm.
cargo full of, or a train full of cargo stuff. So like packaging and all kinds of. It can be pretty much anything as long as it's like packaged or stored inside in somewhere.
That's exactly right. And we are going to be talking about the cargo needed to live in space. Okay? All right. Hold, give me just one second. Turn off your camera. Okay, check your chat. Somebody might have just gotten a private message. All right, Tim, did you have a chance to look up any words?
Um, I did payload and inner planets.
Perfect. Tell us what payload means.
Payload is the carrying capacity of an aircraft or a spaceship.
Very good.
Cargo, munitions, instruments, or experiments, and extra fuel.
Okay. All right. And then you said you did the inner planets?
Yeah,
Okay.
the
And
inner,
tell us what the inner planets are.
the inner planets of Mercury, Venus, Mars. They orbit our. Their orbit is closer to the sun. Is closest to the sun.
That's right. And the inner planets are also made out of rock, where the other outer planets are made out of gases. So our inner planets involve Earth, Mercury, Mars, and Venus. Those are the closest to the sun, and they are made out of rock. Okay? Outer planets are, and I'll just tell you this, outer planets are Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, Pluto, and I think that's it. And they are mostly gassy planets, gaseous planets. All right. Tyler, did you get to look up any words? No, he didn't, but that's okay, Tyler, because I didn't make it like, you know, like real serious. So that's okay. Jaden, what about you? No? That's all right, Jaden. Don't worry about it. I'm going to quickly go through a couple of the other words. Yes, Tyler.
I was gonna say what the inner planets and the outer planets were, but you just did.
Oh, yes, I did. Sorry about that. I think we all know what a code is. In one of our lessons I think it's in a couple of weeks, we are going to be looking at jarbled code, and we are going to have to decode it. So that means we're going to have to figure out what it is that it's really trying to say. We are on a mission. Okay, so our mission is to save the astronauts or to rescue the astronauts. Um, the scenario, I've described that to you. We are in the year 2080, and different astronauts live on the planets and are trying to find resources. A simulation on November 21st, our last final big end to the project will be a simulation where we pretend with the NASA scientists that we are actually in space. Okay. A specialist is a person who does a certain type of job, and you are going to, in a couple weeks, be able to, actually, I think it's a couple months, it's November, apply for a certain job that you want, specialist job. Yes, Emma.
Um, like a medical specialist.
Actually, I will get to the different jobs in just a second, and then you'll get to see what those jobs are. Okay? Lucas, yes.
Movie makers,
Uh,
film, news, or
no,
something.
no, we don't actually have any filmmakers in this particular mission, but we can work out something because we will be using GoToMeeting, and maybe you can record it or something. We'll see. Yes,
Okay.
Jaden.
Photography.
Um, No. But we'll get there, guys. I'll describe our jobs here in a minute. Okay, let's go on. So we are going to decode garbled messages from this lost ship. We're going to have to figure out what we need in our payload to rescue the astronauts. And we're going to have to communicate with other ships and other outposts. Okay, so I'll quickly go through. I think we were all excited to know more about the jobs. So let me go through the different jobs. Each, I went a little too fast. Sorry. Do you guys ever do that on Google presentations? If you just click just a little too fast, it just goes crazy. Anyway, all right. Um, each week, we're going to go through a different lesson that is going to teach us about each of these jobs. So if they don't make a whole lot of sense to you right now, that's okay because they will in the future, I promise. All right. But let me just tell you, a transmission specialist, this person is going to receive info giving clues to the ship's lost location. You're going to decode the location of the information and report back to mission control. So these people are going to get all of those jarbled messages and have to figure them out. Navigation specialists are going to plot the location of each planet and unknown objects on a coordinate grid. You're going to help determine the location of the lost ship and how that we don't run into anything floating out there in space. Cargo specialists are going to calculate food, water, and oxygen needs for our rescue mission, and you're going to also calculate what needs to go in our packing crate. Communications team. These people are going to be relaying information back and forth between mission control and all of these other people. Okay? All right. So like I said, you might not understand it yet, but each week we're going to do a lesson that will teach you all about being a transmission person. And then the next week we'll do a lesson that'll teach you all about being a navigation person and so on. All right. Yes, go ahead, Lucas.
What are each of our jobs?
We won't know which job you're going to do until right before the final E mission with the NASA scientists. We have to go through all of the work first before I decide which one you're best for, and you also have to apply for each one of these jobs. You have to pick one and apply for it. Go ahead, Lucas. What?
Cargo, food, and water. That's my choice. Cargo.
Okay. Well, cool. I'm glad that you already have an idea of something that you would like to do. Emma.
How do you apply for the?
Oh, don't worry about that yet. You're not going to have to apply until November, and I will definitely send you the application then. So, no stress yet about applying. All right, this next slide, you are put into different teams, planet teams, and then you have a certain job within each planet. So you might be a cargo specialist on the planet Jupiter. It really doesn't matter right now. I did link it if you want to look at it. I might switch these around, so I wouldn't pay too much attention yet. All I did was divide you up equally so that there's an equal number on each, but they might change. But just so you know, you don't need to really worry about this until November, so don't worry about that. All right. So now I'm going to kind of switch gears a little bit and talk about making connections. And I know this is not new for most of you, but this is also a good reading strategy, and this is a good way to kind of segue into this. We're going to make connections to this mission. So a text-to-self connection, does this mission remind you of anything in your own life? Anything that's ever happened to you. Maybe have you ever been lost, like the astronauts? Any examples? You guys are pretty lucky. It was kind of fun. In my last virtual classroom, I had like 5 students say that they can make a connection to being lost. So, being a connection to those astronauts who are lost in space. Um, Sounded like I interrupted somebody. Did somebody have a thought? Go ahead, Emma.
I did.
Okay. Go ahead. You could share.
Uh, One time I thought I was lost, but actually, eh, I was just lost around the corner of a aisle.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, at least
Yeah.
you felt that fear there for a minute. Now, these astronauts who are lost in space are probably extremely frightened right now. All right, a text-to-text connection. Does this mission remind you of maybe a book or a movie? Are you guys too young to know about Star Wars or Star Trek?
I don't really want to watch that movie, and my mom and dad think I'm too young.
And that's okay. That's totally fine. Lucas?
Um,
I do have a cousin that watches
looks
all
like
movies
the
like
one.
that.
Okay, guys, we're getting some background noise, and I think Lucas is trying to speak. So let's make sure we're really quiet so that we can hear Lucas. Go ahead.
There was this movie that I watched when I was a little kid on TV. It was like an older movie from the 80s or something like that. And
Uh-huh.
it was about this kind of same kind of scenario.
Yeah, being lost in space. Very
Yeah,
good.
Lost in
Yeah.
Space or something like that. It was the kind of the exact same story, just not from the 2003 or whatever.
Yeah, not the year 2080, but that's, yeah, very, very good connection. Tim, what about you?
Apollo 13?
That's
Yeah,
exactly right. Apollo 13. That's exactly a very good connection. Yes. Jaden.
I have seen Star Wars.
Okay, well, yeah, in Star Wars, obviously the setting is all in space. And then Star Trek is set in the future in space. So that kind
that's
of is another good connection.
Huh?
Yeah,
I
Tyler.
watched Star Trek last night.
Well, there you
The
go.
one. It was awesome.
Well, there's your
awesome.
connection.
Star Trek.
All right. Now, this one is probably the most difficult, a text to world connection. Does this mission remind you of anything going on in the world right now? Now, you can think kind of small scale. What about, have you ever been on a walk and you saw like a poster for a lost dog? Well, that's something going on in the world right now. It's close to home and it's in your neighborhood, but it still counts as a text to world connection. Tyler?
Well, the mission kind of reminds me about NASA, how they're kind of planning how to make like a bubble on Mars where people can live in it.
That's exactly right. Oh my goodness. And so this reminds him of the real company, NASA, and what they're trying to do as far as planning to live on Mars. In our mission, we already live or we already have settlements on Mars. So that's really good. All right, guys. So I just want you to kind of keep that in mind as we go through each one of these e-mission lessons, that we really can tie in some good reading strategies at the same time. Reading strategies that are useful to everyone, no matter what grade you're in. Okay? All right. Here we go. So for next time, you have a very short assignment. You're going to click here to answer a couple questions. So I'm going to show you the questions now and we can talk about them. All right. First one, terribly hard question. What is your name? um,
That
second,
one's easy.
yeah, second really tough question. What grade are you in? And then
Easy again.
Maybe I'm in second.
then it actually does get a little bit more difficult. Yes, Tyler.
My whole entire test, I only got one question right, and that question was my name.
Okay, well there you go. In what year does the mission occur? And Obviously, I think we all know that it occurs in 2080, but let's talk about this now. Why is that important that it's in the year 2080?
Um,
Tim?
no idea.
To tell you that's in the future.
Yes. Now let's think a little bit more about the future. What might be possible in the future that is not possible now? Go ahead, Emma.
You have you can get wheelchair that's rocket boosted.
Okay, so yeah, that's a nice way of saying that our technology will be far more advanced. What else, Lucas?
Flying cars and then holograms that you can see a person in another room, a totally different country or whatever. I've seen it on a documentary. There's actually a thing where they already made that.
Okay. And Tyler, what do you think?
For people who don't have like arms or legs, they're gonna make robotic that they control.
Oh, okay, very good. So
Instead of just
there
like
again, that's talking about the advanced technology that will be available to us in the year 2080. This would not be possible in the year 2013. Okay, so you need to keep that in mind. All right, and where does this mission begin? Well, if you don't, go ahead, Emma.
Mission control.
Definitely. And if you don't remember your answers, guess what you're able to do? You're able to go back and look. Okay? Now, I want you to give a short description of each one of those jobs that I just showed that slide. Okay? And then I want you to tell me what job you at least think you want to have. Okay? So you might not know exactly what it is that they do, but which one of them out of the choices that you see kind of speaks to you? Okay? So it's this won't take you very long at all. All right. Are there any questions on your homework? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
How am I gonna get? How am I supposed to get back to these slides? Like when I get off?
It is in your email. I've actually shared this entire presentation with you in your email.
Okay.
Yeah, Lucas?
So that quiz or that test or whatever that where you put in the answers and stuff like that. So that's the homework.
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
that's exactly right. And so this whole presentation is in your email. Guess what else is in your email? This whole agenda. So you have access to it in a lot of ways because you can click on it from the agenda, like I just showed you, or you can go directly to it from your email. Okay? All right, so let me go back to our agenda. All right, so on Thursday, we need to make sure that you know your VC time for Thursday. Thursday is going to be a little bit more like practice. It won't have anything to do with our mission with NASA. Thursday is going to be more math practice. So you're going to be finding your name wherever you are, and that's what time you're going to report to your virtual classroom. Now, here's the thing. If you have like a question about some of your math problems, like you're going through your little Lincoln lesson or you're going through your Adventa lesson, whatever lesson you're working on, maybe you have a question. If you can email it to me by Wednesday, it would be really helpful because then I can come with that question prepared, okay, to go over it for you. How many people know how to make a screenshot? Okay, Tyler does. Good. And Tim does. Perfect. That I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. It's really helpful. Let's say that this right here, what I'm highlighting, let's just say that's a math problem. And I'm looking at it and I don't understand it. And I don't really want to retype it. I don't really know how I would type that out. So I need Mrs. Bruns to just see exactly what the problem is. So I'm going to take a screenshot of it. If you hold down Shift, Command, and 4 at the same time, you're going to get this thing. See, it looks like a target. And what you do is you just drag that target over what you want to take a picture of. Do you see that? Okay. And when you let go, It sounds kind of like a camera. It just took a picture. And that picture will end up on your desktop. Do you see that screenshot? So it just saves automatically to your desktop. And then you can attach it to an email really easily. Any questions on that?
Um, I hmm. Can I?
Go ahead, Lucas. Yeah.
I have a Windows computer and I've tried that before, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. If you're not using a laptop, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, Lucas. So it might not work for you. You might have to actually just type out the question. Sorry.
Oh, okay. That's easier. I can just cut and paste.
Or cut and paste it. Perfect.
Yeah,
That's
that's
another
easier.
way.
Yeah,
I use it all the time.
I could do that because I always use my mom's computer, and my sister uses the Apple computers.
Oh, I see. Well, yeah, here's another easy way to cut and paste. You could just highlight whatever the problem is. So you highlight it and then you go up to copy, and then in the email you would paste it. Okay. So that's another way to do it. But all right, guys, are there any other questions for today? What about reading eggs? I'm switching gears a little bit, but have we all been able to get into reading eggs yet? Lucas, what about you?
I've gone inside there, but there's not that much of a variety of books that I really enjoy.
Okay, well, Lucas, part of the whole purpose behind reading eggs is actually the lessons. Um,
Oh, so not the library, not really
well,
the.
the library is really cool to find books, but doing the lessons in the comprehension gym. Did you watch those videos?
Yeah, I watched the videos. I did at least
We
one thing
haven't done
inside
it
all
yet.
of the little areas, the mall, the whatever, etc.
Yeah, the mall and the stadium and the comprehension gym. You're going to spend most
We
of your
haven't
time
done
in the
that yet.
comprehension gym. Okay.
Okay.
Tyler, what about you? Have you been able to get into this? Yeah? Very cool. What do you think? He hasn't spent much time on it yet. Okay. All right. Well, for fourth and fifth grade, especially, it is definitely a requirement. It can replace your dear reading. Okay. So that you don't have to, you can, but you don't have to do both. I would definitely like you to spend time on this program. Okay.
We
Okay.
haven't started it yet.
Okay. Well, that's okay. It's only Monday, so you'll get started. Don't worry. All right, guys.
I don't know how to get on.
Ah, well, good question. I sent you again in your email, and I'll show it to you. Okay. I sent you a Google Doc with all of the instructions and two short videos that will help you get started. Okay? So it looks like this, and I sent it to your parents too. And all you need to do is just read the actually, you don't have to read too much, but at the bottom, I know in the email I linked the two videos I made that show you exactly how to get on the very first time. Okay? All right. So it sounds like a couple of you need some time to go read through some of those emails. I will let you go so that you can do your short little homework lesson. And then I will see you all on Thursday.
Okay.
Or maybe some of you I'll see tomorrow at Cave of the Winds.
I don't think we'll be able to go because of my little brother.
Oh, yes, he's very young. I understand. Yes, Tyler, did you have another question?
I forgot.
Okay, well, if you think of it, you can shoot me an email. All right, guys, say bye to each other.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.